Buongiorno, everybody. Sono the old golden black. I'm here with a little bit of coffee in Turin. After the match last night, I just can't believe that I'm here in Italy watching Wolves and how far we've come in such a short time. I was thinking yesterday that it was 2 years ago this weekend we played Brentford away. 6 years ago this weekend we played Port Vale away. It's incredible, really, to think about the progress. And I've seen a lot on Twitter about Nuno and saying, do you think he realises what an impact he's made, not just on the Wolves, but on our lives as well? For nearly 2,000 Wolves fans, or 1,500 Wolves fans, to come to a city in Italy and enjoy themselves and win, I think it's staggering, really, really staggering to consider what he has helped us to achieve. I think we've all got to be very, very grateful for that. But I'll go into a little bit more detail in a separate video about the experience that I've had here over the last couple of days. I'm here for another couple of days as well, coming back on Saturday evening before the game against Burnley on Sunday. But I'm just going to focus on the game last night against Turin or Torino. And yeah, I think in terms of the match, I think we've got to be very, very pleased, and the result that we've come away with a 1-goal lead in a playoff tie, and with the away goals, so it's a 2-goal lead basically. We don't throw away 2-goal leads very often, do we? Apart from in big semi-final games. So hopefully we've learned from that mistake. And the players have all put on Instagram about, yes, it's a good result, but we need to make sure that we do it in Molineux as well. And I think that we will. I think Torino were pretty ordinary, really. I was expecting a lot more from them. I thought that they did threaten quite a bit in the first half. They had a couple of chances. Patricio had to make a couple of sharp saves, but basically had a fairly easy time of it in the first half. The goal that we grabbed just before half-time, I think it was an own goal. I haven't actually seen the goals again, which could harm me going forward in this video, because I might not remember all the details that accurately, but classic Moutinho whipped in ball towards that danger zone, and you know that if the ball's going to be on target, you just need to get a little touch, or somebody needs to get in the way of it, and it's going to be very difficult for the defenders to deal with it. And in the end, it was them that got a little touch on it. So to go in at half-time 1-0 up was positive. I spoke before the game, thinking about it, that if we could just come away having scored a goal, I couldn't see Torino scoring 4, 5, 6 and us being out of sight having scored a goal. I thought if we lost 2-1 or maybe even 3-1, I think that we were still in the game. So it was almost like job done at half-time, because I thought, that'll be it now. We'll try and shut up shop. But we carried on going, we kept on going. And again, we saw that Traore on the side where Nuno was on the touchline was tremendous. He, all through the game, he was causing their fullback problems, and he was fouling him constantly and giving him all sorts of trouble. But he managed to get past him, got a very, very good ball across, and Jota didn't have anything else to do, just slot it past the goalkeeper. Sirigu, is it? He used to play for PSG. But then a little bit of a disappointment that we switched off to let the Turin team back in with a pretty sloppy piece of defending, too easy. I can't give you great detail because, of course, we were all celebrating too much. The goals were almost back to back, very, very quick. And then the impetus changed. Then we had gone from trying to score goals and extend a lead to shutting up shop and making sure that we don't go away level or behind even, because at that point the crowd had whipped up and they were really, really into it, and the atmosphere was great. But we Johnny came on then for Traore in a sort of sign to say that this is it, we're shutting up shop and we're happy with 2-1. And from that, Jimenez broke away and took his goal really well. He had a chance just a few minutes before where he was through on with the keeper and kept cutting back, and I think he did the same against Leicester, trying to get rid of a defender and make it a really easy scoring chance. But it was like a knife through butter. He didn't have anybody around him for his goal. It took ran through, easy, picked his spot, just passed it past the goalkeeper. Really well taken goal. And then it was a shame then to give away the penalty. And I think I could be wrong here, correct me. I think it was Cody that gave away the penalty, and that's 2 in 2 games. And they're both similar sort of fouls, just lunging in. You don't need to go and do that sort of thing at that point of the game. There was a couple of minutes left. Just try and contain them rather than lunging out a leg. He said on Monday that he was going to try and learn from it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that he has done. So disappointed to concede that and to only come back with a 1-goal lead. I think if it had been 3-1 and they'd have had to have scored, however many, they'd have had to score 3, wouldn't they, without reply. I'm fairly confident going into the next round. We should, into the next leg, I think we should be able to get through. We just have to make sure that we play in the way that we do, and control the game, catch them on the break, and make sure that, we get through to the group stage. And what a magnificent achievement that would be. I just want to make a couple of notes as well. First of all, I don't know who is to blame for this, whether it is Wolves or whether it's Torino, but we were told yesterday, or before yesterday, to meet in this square in Turin, and there will be shuttle buses going from 5:30 until kick-off down into the stadium. What actually happened was that I think some people were on the buses from 5:30, and it must have been, horrible for them. But there was about 7 buses, or 10 buses, I think. There was 2 lots of them. And Wolves fans piled onto them, and it was all fun. Everybody was singing on the buses and stuff, and it was all, quite enjoyable. Apart from, I imagine, if you were on the first couple of buses and you'd been there since 5:30 and been on those buses for an hour and a half before setting off at 7 o'clock, that was pretty bad. I think pretty bad planning. It might have even been later than 7 o'clock. I think it might have been nearly 8 o'clock. I think by the time that we actually did set off, got to the ground then on these buses, and then you were just thrown onto this where the turnstiles were. But there were 2 very, very small gates that were open for the Wolves fans. There's 1,500 Wolves fans all together. They've all been brought down at the same time. They've all been plonked there. There's riot police either side to keep us penned into this little section. And there were 2 gates, but there were 5 gates in total. So people were getting frustrated, people were getting angry, people were starting to throw things and shout and bang on the boards and stuff. And it was getting quite stressful. And the worst bit about it was there were children in the Wolves fans, and they were getting squeezed. There was a little bit of panic at times where people were shouting for people to move back from the front because it was getting quite a squash. So I don't know who is to blame for that, whether it's Wolves failing to come and do a proper recce. However, you would have to trust that they or their security people would speak to Torino's security people, and they would liaise properly to be able to provide a safe entrance to the ground. There was all this thing about passports as well before the game, but they sort of gave up on that once they realised that it was 9:15 and there was nobody, or not many people in the ground. But the atmosphere in the ground was fantastic. It was a proper Italian football match, and I really, really enjoyed it. And still can't believe that we've watched Wolves in Italy. Amazing. But anyway, I might give another video with all the little bits and clips of stuff. I went to the Juventus Stadium yesterday, and all little things like that I'll do when I'm back home. But hopefully you've enjoyed. If you've enjoyed yourselves. I've met lots of subscribers. It's been fantastic to meet all of you. And I hope that you all have a safe journey home. And I'll see you on Sunday for Burnley. Back to Wolverhampton after Torino. Lovely. See you. Bye-bye.